Good morning.
How are you, Imran?
I'm doing wonderful. How about yourself?
Very good.
Yeah, been a fan of yours, and I just wanted to connect with you and share some ideas with you.
Sure. Let's go.
So, I'm a psychiatrist. Also a sleep physician, and I've been in academics all my life. But I attended your coaching program just a few years ago, and it kind of
Uh-huh.
changed my life quite a bit in terms of my money making ability, in terms of my relationships, in terms of what I wanted to do in my life. So I
Uh-huh.
remember like you had us do the vision exercise and what your
Sure.
purpose is and all that, and then you write down how your 5 years are going to be in the future. And I was just looking at it. I was looking at some of my notes from the Bob Proctor coaching, and then I have done better than that, the 5 years.
That's
So,
good.
so I shared with you about my ideas about the subconscious mind because I've been in, I've been trained in psychiatry, psychodynamic psychotherapy with people in New York and psychoanalysts. And I was working on a book at that time, which I just finished. But I wanted to interview you because I've interviewed a lot of people who are scientists in the field. But I wanted to interview somebody like yourself to include your ideas and thoughts about the concept, which I'm going to be sharing with you in a second.
Sure.
So I've worked on dreams as well. So I've read a lot about dreams. So what my concept is that we all have subconscious mind, and you talk about the self-image. All of us have to have a good self-image. We cannot outperform our self-image, and the subconscious plays a huge role towards that, because a real self-image is in the subconscious mind. That's what you want to change. That's what you preach, and you want people to change. But what we get is in our dreams, most of the time, the image of ourselves which we get in our dreams is not a very positive one. Most people don't get dreams that they're very happy, they're able to accomplish things. Most of the dreams are fear-based, partly because of the brain, the way the part of the brain which is engaged during dreams, but also because our brain is years of age, and back then, the dream sleep, which is the REM sleep, it was kind of designed to help people kind of have simulation of poor stuff like running away from a saber tiger and all of that, and all the dreams were fear based, and we don't need that anymore. But my thinking is that you can change your dreams. You can change the way you see yourself in your dreams. That's your self image in your dream, and I call it as dream self image. And there are ways you can change it, especially when you're about to go to sleep, especially if you're going to sleep, and do certain exercises, visualization exercises, dream rehearsal exercises. I've created a dream self-image scale, which a person could use to see what their dream self-image is. And in my life, I've seen that when my dreams have gotten better, the way I see myself in dreams have gotten better. In this book, I've used your quotes, other authors' quotes as well. But the whole idea is that if somebody is able to change their real self-image, their dream self-image, and they're following philosophies and programs like yours and other authors, their progress could be quicker because they're working on their inner dream self-image. And I've talked to a number of psychoanalysts. I mean, all of them agree that dreams, your subconscious comes out in your dreams. So what's your thought about that?
My feeling is that dreams are very prophetic. I think you get into anything biblical on dreams, they were almost all prophesying of the future. I am rarely dream. Now, I think everybody dreams. I'm rarely aware of what my dreams are.
Okay.
But I do believe everybody dreams. Although if you ask me, I'd say I don't dream. It's that I'm very rarely aware that I'm dreaming.
One can train oneself. One can train oneself to remember the dreams. It's very difficult to remember, but if you train yourself, keep a dream journal. Because remember, Napoleon Hill, if you Think and Grow Rich, came to him in sleep. So he told his subconscious mind, went to sleep and woke up with an image of Think and Grow Rich about the title of the book.
The idea we go to sleep with is the idea that we work with while we're sleeping.
Correct.
I believe the soul never sleeps. I believe we are a soul. I don't think you have one. I think you are one.
Yes.
And I think the soul is working all the time.
Yes.
It doesn't need to sleep. It's not it's not a physical thing.
Yes.
So it doesn't need the rest like the body does. I believe the self-image is really, I think it's almost genetic. In fact, part of it is genetic. And a lot of it has to do with the state your mind is in for the first couple of years of your life.
Sure.
The environment you're in dictates what your self-image is going to be.
Okay.
But I believe that it can all be changed and changed dramatically.
Sure.
But you require understanding, and most people don't have the understanding.
Yep.
Like, I believe that at the moment of conception, your paradigm has been formed.
Sure.
The DNA from mom and dad come together, and God knows how far back goes, 4 or 5 generations, I guess. The paradigm is really a great problem in life. Doesn't matter how smart we are. There's a lot of people that, well, first of all, I think the public is on the wrong track, where the school system is. We've got to deify the intellect, and we ignore awareness. So a person can have a very highly evolved intellect and a very shallow level of awareness of who they are and what they are, and how life works, the laws that govern our being. And I think we'd be further ahead. Like what I do, what I teach, I'm attempting to help people gain an awareness of how the mind functions, who they are, what they're capable of doing, and that the universe is governed by laws. Like Napoleon Hill said, if you believe that hard work and honesty alone will bring riches, perish the thought, it's not true. He said, riches, when they come in huge quantities, are never the result of hard work. Riches come, if they come at all, in response to definite demands based upon application of definite principles, and not by chance or luck. So the demand is there. What we have to do is gain an understanding of the principles, which he taught. I think what we have to do is gain an understanding of that. I'm very big in the paradigm. I think the paradigm is really what stops everybody.
That is true.
And until that paradigm is understood, a person can change their paradigm, not know what they've done.
Sure.
I think most people that are very successful are unconscious competence. I don't think they know what they're doing. And therefore, it's non-transferable. They can't give it to somebody else. That's really where I'm coming from. Like, I had changed and I didn't know why. And one day I decided I want to find out why I changed. I had no formal education. I had 2 months high school. I had no business experience. I had a bad attitude. I mean, I was just losing, and I was a loser. I was 26. And that's when I picked up this book. This is my book.
Yep, absolutely. That's the yes, I've seen that.
It's held together by elastic. Well, that's when I picked up that book and I started to study, and I've never stopped. My 58th year of studying it. I've come to the conclusion, I studied with some brilliant people. It took me 9.5 years to figure out how and why I changed. What I had done was change my paradigm through the repetition of listening to Earl Nightingale and Napoleon Hill. And I just kept listening. I was so fascinated with what they were saying, I couldn't stop listening to it. I just loved it. It was like beautiful music to my ears.
And people listen to you now. I mean, I listen to your tapes, the things from Bob Proctor coaching. I've taped it all, and I listen to it all the time in my car.
Yeah. Well, that's where it came from. You see, I'm just a medium through which their lessons are being taught.
That is yes.
Now, I think probably I've taken it to another level of what Napoleon Hill and Earl Nightingale did, but I've had the benefit of their whole lifetime of study. Then mixed with my own. So
a person could affect your own subconscious mind by when they are in alpha state of mind, when they're kind of about to go to sleep, because that's the time when there's a therapy called dream rehearsal therapy for patients who have PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, and they visualize their dreams. If they have constant bad dreams about being killed or seeing their friends dying, and they visualize it before going to sleep and change the ending of it, that has a lot of evidence. So in the work which I am talking about, people, especially if you're going to sleep, before going to sleep in the alpha state, because that's the time when the brain is more receptive. It's more like when people get hypnotized, that's what happens there in alpha state, and it's more like a funnel, from the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. Similarly,
let me show you something I learned one time in England. Hold on.
okay.
This line represents a wave.
Yes.
This line represents down here a sleep.
Yep.
Well, this here is what we call a twilight state.
Yes, exactly.
Let's say 11 o'clock you go to bed and you get up at 7. When you go to sleep, you go through this twilight state. So your subconscious mind is wide open.
Exactly.
Sometime in the middle of the night, you almost wake up, but you don't. You go back into a deep sleep.
Absolutely.
That's when you think you woke up last night. You didn't really.
Yep.
Just before you wake up, you come up into a light sleep, go back into a very deep sleep, and then come out of it.
Yep.
So it's in this part here, if you were using a recording, I studied sleep learning in England way back in the 60s.
Sure.
And this is what I learned from it. They would wire us, and we'd sleep there, and they would tell us when we had our light sleep periods.
Yep.
And then this is when we had reel-to-reel tape recorders.
Sure.
And so they would fix the tape recorder so it come on here in these light sleep periods. And that's when it was going right into your subconscious mind.
Yep. This is what I'm talking about. Like, if you program yourself before going to sleep, also condition yourself that when you wake up in the middle of the night or just as soon as you wake up, you could influence that subconscious mind by having positive imagery about yourself. Similarly, there's a scale which I worked on, and I'll share that with you in terms of you can look at whether your dream self-image is getting better or not. Because do you believe that dreams, subconscious, you can access your subconscious mind?
I believe is that they are very prophetic.
Look at scientifically dreams. You know, when you dream, a person is dreaming, what's happening is there are different theories about it, but a person is computing a lot of things, because as you know, that subconscious mind is extensively powerful than the conscious mind. It is computing millions of scenarios.
I think the subconscious is the universal mind.
Yes.
I think that's where all knowledge and all power lies. And we can tap into infinite knowledge. I think that's where the phone came from. That's where the ability to do what we're doing right now came from.
Absolutely. So
I got a little laptop computer sitting on my desk. It's not plugged into anything.
Yes.
And you're in Dallas, Texas, and here we're talking back and forth.
Yep.
You are in Dallas. I'm sitting in Toronto. We're looking and talking at each other as if we were sitting in the same room.
Yes.
Well, that knowledge, the knowledge that enabled us to do that has always been here.
Yes.
It took an awareness that knowledge was here and how to utilize it.
Yep.
And where Hill talks about successful people making decisions fast, change them if they change them very slowly. Well, I always wondered, how did they make them so fast? Where did they get their information? How did they gather? They don't have any information. The only prerequisite for making a decision is, do I want to? Not can I afford it? Not am I smart enough to do it? Not do I have the resources? None of that. The only prerequisite is, do I want to? And if you want to, you make a decision. You flip your brain onto the frequency that you have to be on to attract what you have to attract to execute the idea. We think on frequency, and we're usually thinking here on this frequency when the knowledge we need is up here on this frequency. Well, when you want to, you flip your brain on, you'd make a decision to do what you want. You flip your brain onto that frequency. Well, then you start to attract whatever you require because it's already here. There's nothing created or destroyed. Therefore, everything's already here, all the power, all the knowledge. We've been able to use these little iPhones that we've got forever. We just weren't aware.
Saying I've been in academics. I've published like a textbook on sleep and psychiatry and published a lot of research papers, but I'm moving out of academic medicine into more private practice, and I'm teaching it to my patients, and it is really working very well. My practice has grown. Thinking is different. You know, when you open up your own business, my life is...
You subject yourself to their limitations.
Exactly.
So private practice, you create your own limitations.
Absolutely. So I'm totally private.
Said, when you fully realize that thought causes all, you'll know there's never any limitations you yourself don't impose.
I talk to them about subconscious mind, what your thoughts are. I tell them about all the material which I've learned from you and others, and including my own. So it really changes that. So they come to me for medications because I'm a psychiatrist. I'm trained in psychotherapy, and most of the time people don't, insurances don't pay for psychotherapy from a psychiatrist because they're more expensive.
Teach at university. I don't think you should ever stop teaching at university because I don't think the universities are getting this information right.
No, they are not.
And if you've got it and you're teaching it there, somebody's going to get it. You can earn your money in your private practice, but get your psychic income, your satisfaction in the university.
Sure, that is true.
Two types of income. You need material income is the money. That's what makes the machine keep running.
Yep.
But the thing that keeps you keep running is your own psychic income, the satisfaction you get from what you're doing.
Absolutely.
That keeps the soul going.
Yes, that is true.
The material income, the money is for the body.
Yeah.
And the psychic income is for the soul. I never even said that before, but I'm becoming aware of it just telling you about it.
Okay.
And I really believe that. The soul definitely needs feeding.
Absolutely.
I can broadcast all over the world from here.
Yep.
You want something like this. If you're really into study this, and then with the credentials you've got, you'll get a lot of people listening to you that won't listen to me. Anybody that's got an intellectual hang-up, they're not going to listen to me. They'll listen to you, though.
Okay.
Like the doctor's like God. Everybody believes the doctor.
Yeah, that is true.
Silly, but that's race. That's the race consciousness. That's universal mind paradigm, really.
Yep.
Countries have paradigms. Companies have paradigms. Families have paradigms, and individuals have paradigms.
That is true.
And they're very limiting.
Yep, absolutely.
And until we understand it and see that the limitations are really in our subconscious, in our subjective mind, and they're controlled, we're not going to be able to win until that happens. This has been great talking to you. Send the book.
Okay, I will do that right away. Thank you.
Imran.
Okay, thank you so much.